Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Last time around we had Lost Light, where basically Wrath and Pride showed up and forced Roy to perform human transmutation through their homunculus nonsense. And Roy was thrown through the portal. He saw the truth, and unfortunately that's the last thing he saw, because once he returned to our world in Father's chambers, they realized that he had lost his vision, which is pretty bad. Meanwhile, Scar is fighting Wrath, which is pretty great. Good fight so far. And then Al was also, because he hadn't woken up yet, he went back to the truth and found his body. However, because his body is so frail and weak right now, it wouldn't be good to fight with that. So he returned to his metallic body, vowing that he would come back and find his real body. And yeah, he woke up, and now all 5 of the sacrifices are there, so shit's going down, basically. So, yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much that. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Here we go.
やっと見つけた新しい朝は月日が邪魔をする
Welp, that, okay. I did not expect that. I didn't expect any of that. Ever in 60 episodes, I've never thought, oh yeah, there'll be a giant blob monster who opens a gateway on the earth, climbs up, and then there's a gateway on the moon that opens to a giant eyeball, and then he would try to take the power of God. Yeah. I didn't expect that. I did not expect that at all. Now there is hope, I guess. There's 4 episodes. It doesn't end here, obviously. I don't think we're gonna just end without. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna just be like, oh, we lost. That's the end of the show. But at the very least in this episode, they reminded me that there is still the counter transmutation circle that Scar's brother created, you know? And with that, I'm assuming you can undo this. You can drag him back. And I was kind of thinking, and I guess here's the next question, is who activates that? Who activates the counter circle? I'm thinking it might be Scar, actually, because he now has the other side. Because he now has alchemy in its completion, basically, in its entirety. It may be Scar, honestly. But I was kind of thinking, okay, well, at that point, does that sort of discount our heroes? And nothing against Scar, but, we're all kind of waiting for Ed and Al to win. But if Scar does it, I don't know. We still gotta fight Father after that, so there's that. But, I will say, though, because it was Al, wasn't it, who figured out the counter circle? I think so, because he was in pieces. He was kind of in pieces, and they hadn't put him back together yet. And then I think Yoki accidentally blew over the pages, and then Al realized, wait, we need to put these back, but upside down. We have to figure out that, and that's how they figured it out. So, they did contribute at least. But yeah, I'm assuming that's what they have to do. Is they have to use the counter circle of Scar's brother. So, Oh boy, that was a lot, man. That was a lot. Like that was kind of crazier than the end of Code Geass. You know, the end of Code Geass is just you just look at Jupiter and that's it. And it's like this was insane. So, notes on this episode. Pride is in a weakened state, which is good. He's had to use, I imagine it's that he had to use a lot of his own souls in order to force Mustang through, you know? So it puts him in a much more weakened state. So they do have a good chance of getting him. Yeah, and then we have May versus Father, which didn't go amazingly. Sorry. Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, she's trying to save her clan, man. Trying to save her clan, and if he's immortal, but it didn't work. You know who else it didn't work for? Greed. Greed came in. He tried to do it. He wanted to take over, take that power. But it makes sense that Father was prepared for that because it would make sense that Greed would try to get there and take that power for himself because it's his greed, you know? But any sort of ambition he has, Father would have had it first, you know? So that's a good point. Interesting stuff with Wrath, by the way. The whole thing of, you know, you forget basically everything else about being human or being alive. Like this, fighting for your own life, basically, that's what really matters, which is an interesting thing for him to say. Because, I mean, you know, there are obviously characters in this show who would disagree with him about that pretty much everything else is, you know, is worth it. That does make you alive, you know? But, I mean, he views it that way because that's all he has, you know? Because he is just a homunculus. It's kind of just a husk. He doesn't know who he was. He's no longer the human that became Wrath, you know? And even as Wrath, he's just a piece of somebody else, you know? He's a piece of somebody else, so all he has left is his own life. And it's an interesting thing thinking about that, you know? And especially, too, because Wrath is an interesting character, especially because of his wife, I think. Because he did say, you know, everything was chosen for him except his wife. He chose to marry his wife, you know? And that's, you know, it's an interesting thought, you know? It's an interesting thought that is maybe an element of, I don't even know if you can say humanity, but it's an interesting thing. So yeah, but now the only thing he has left is to fight for his own existence, you know? But that does, it makes him alive, you know? It makes him alive. And Scar finally has given up, I guess just the hatred he's had of alchemy, and he has accepted alchemy and gotten, you know, the rest of the transmutation circles, you know, which is good. That's really, really good. Which honestly, you know, when you kind of think about it, you would think all alchemists would do that, where they would have transmutation circles somewhere embedded into their arms, you know, because then, you know, you wouldn't run the risk of losing your thing. You know, Armstrong, he has it on his gloves or his gauntlets or whatever. Mustang had it on his gloves, but then when he lost his gloves, when he fought Lust, he literally carved it into the back of his hand. It's like, well, if you had a tattoo, you wouldn't need this problem, you know? And of course, now, if he gets his sight back, it won't be a problem because he will have circle-free alchemy, you know? Which, it seems there are levels. It seems there are levels of it that there's alchemy, then there's circle-free alchemy, which is what those who have seen the truth have. And then the further point of that, which is two immortals, Hohenheim and Father, have hands-free alchemy specifically, which is interesting. So yeah. But Scar finally did it. He finally accepted, and I like that he saved that. Like, he didn't use that against, the Immortal Legion or anything. He saved that specifically and surprised Wrath with it, So that was good. I love the comment that I love the fact that Ed knows exactly how Pride will fight because Ed is small too. Like, this is the one time that Ed accepts it, and it's like, yeah, I know what you're going to do because I'm small too. I know exactly how small people fight, So I like that. I'm glad he kicked the shit out of him. Oh, it's great. But we got the eclipse. The eclipse has happened, and he's going to take the power of the planet itself, and he's going to destroy God, basically. He's going to go beyond the boundaries of the universe of God himself. I don't know how any of this fucking works, but it clearly does, because, yeah, that's a thing, clearly. Clearly all of this, can work, because he did summon something. So is the truth God? There's your next question. We don't know, I guess. What is the truth, What is the truth? What is God? I'm sure you could interpret it 1,000 different ways, but yeah. But all of this, the five sacrifices, the transmutation circle, the eclipse, everything is absolutely ridiculous, It's absolutely ridiculous, but we'll have to see what happens. Again, at the very least, the Ishvalans have set up the counter transmutation circle that Scar's brother created. So if somebody can get that going, then this could work. They could tear him back down, back to Earth, and then we kick the shit out of him somehow. I hope. Friggin', there's one way that they could do that if Hohenheim can somehow fix Roy's sight enough, Like, maybe if... The one thing I'm thinking is if he can transfer all the blindness to one eye, that way he at least has one of his eyes to see, Or maybe he gives him a new type of sight or something. It's not the same sort of vision, but it's something different at least. My nose is itchy. So if he could do something like that, and then Roy, even if his transmutation circles are busted, it doesn't matter. Now that he's seen the truth, he can light fuckers up all the time, So we gotta have that. We gotta have Roy start busting his flames out again. My nose is really itchy for some reason, so I think that's a good sign to cut it here. So yeah, very, very interesting stuff, and yeah. I don't know. This got crazy. This got really crazy here. But yeah, we've got 4 episodes left. I'm very curious where we're going from here. That is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.